It's Friday and I still don't have a video. So I decided I would take a few minutes to talk about bureaucrats. Um, I think I said before that I hate socialism. Um, the other thing I hate is bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is it's the gateway drug to socialism. No, so we need to have rules and we need to have people enforcing the rules. What I really hate is overreaching bureaucracy. And I thought I'd take a little bit of time to just talk about my personal life as well and how it relates to this subject. Um, because I've had a lot of experience with dealing with bureaucracy. And I'm sure we all have. But particularly in two different jobs that I have had, my current job and I think two jobs before this. I used to be a courier, a news courier. I delivered the paper in my area. I would drive around. It required me to drive around at 3 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes you had to drive on the wrong side of the road because you throw in the newspaper out of your car onto their driveway, and if you want to get a good shot, you have to drive on the wrong side of the road. But it's 3 in the morning. Who cares? I worked this job for 8 months as an independent contractor, and I got pulled over 8 times. So that's once for every month that I worked there. I count it. Um, I've lost count since. It's not like I've been pulled over 13 times in my life so far. Um, and it's not because I'm a reckless driver. No, no, no. Of course, maybe that factors into it. I'm not a reckless driver. So in that 8 months, I got pulled over 8 times, and you kind of get used to it. But at the same time, okay, so I wanted to say that I respect, um, I respect our law enforcement officers, and as a conservative, I do believe in law and order. But there is a point at which there's a line that is crossed. Um, when you are being pulled over for, just the smallest things, and there's no one else on the road. It's like, oh well, I'm glad you saved all the deer that are out on the road, officer. I don't know. So that actually isn't the most egregious example. Now I'm working in property management in a state that is pretty regulated. So I have to deal with the courthouse and with different government officials all the time, and there's no efficiency. When you go to these offices, you realize that there is a desire; they want to help. Um, but if you deviate from the rules a little bit, you know, all of a sudden they start yelling at you, and it's just, I'm sorry, it was an honest mistake, or I honestly don't know, or whatever it is. If you don't do what they like, then it's scary all of a sudden. I want to know, if you're watching this, what are some of your stories of dealing with government officials, um, and having these problems where if you don't color inside the lines, they're next thing you know, they're yelling at you. Um, you share some of yours, and I'll share some of mine. And so Ronald Reagan once said that the scariest words in the English dictionary is "I'm the government and I'm here to help." Um, and next to that is "boo." Just boo scares everyone. And third is student debt. So so that's the thing that I have with bureaucrats. It's nice that they want to help, And sometimes their help is necessary. Like I said, we do need law enforcement officers, but that desire to help, we have to realize that just because they want to help doesn't mean that everything they do is helpful. As Karl Marx said, the one thing I agree with Karl Marx on is that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So you can have people who have lots of good intentions, but they are not, and they intend to help people, but what they're doing is not helpful at all. So that's my thoughts on bureaucrats. I'm not, trying to disestablish the police force. I'm not. Who was it that was trying to do that? I think it was last year or 2 years ago. And we're talking about that. No, it's not what I'm trying to do. I want to downsize the government, but still want there to be a limited government in place. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? What are some stories that you guys have about this? Leave them in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and like our page on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and like the video, and join us on Patreon to keep messages like this coming. Thanks.